Okay, of my many, many favorite sessions in this course, and I don't have many I don't really love. There are a couple that are less exciting, but this is not one of them. This is definitely one of my most exciting, most favorite sessions in this course. So get ready for some fun today. Why? Because this is just about efficiency and shortcuts and saving time and little tricks that can really make you a better computer user and just stand out in general. If someone sees you using a computer like this, they'll think, that person is awesome. What are they doing? Or they'll think you're a nerd or something like that, which is probably more likely. But anyway, here we are. So let's just talk about some really quick ways to get faster on the computer. And this stuff adds up. I know some of this course seems like, it's not that big of a deal, but actually saving 10, 15, 20 seconds on a task 10 times a week, saving, obviously some of them are longer. If you can write a good script or have some great functions, you can save some real time. And you can also do some analysis you couldn't do before, and you're avoiding tasks you don't want to do. So this stuff is actually really, really pretty powerful. So this is a great example of things that will cumulatively save you a ton of time, a real huge amount of time, and it'll save your brain power, right? That's a real thing also. So let's just jump into some shortcuts, some tips, some tricks, whatever you want to call them, when using the computer in the browser. So here we go. Let's start with when you are in a document, any document, you can double click on that word, on that word, on that word, in the URL, on that word, double click, and it will select things in groups. So let's say I'm in here. I just want that word. I can then Command C, Command V to paste it, Command VV. I can, if I do double click on it, I can then, if I hold Shift Option, I can go and grab one more word at a time. You'd be surprised at how often you'll use something like this if you just want to grab a word or two. The double click and then the Shift Option arrow right or arrow left. A lot of times you just want a portion of a URL or something else, right? And so if you're holding Shift Option, so Shift is what selects. You can hold Shift and just keep tapping arrow to get where you want. You can hold Shift and Option to get chunks, or you can hold Shift and then Command, which will go to the end of things. So if I clicked here, double clicked here, Shift Command arrow right, Shift Command arrow down will also jump all the way to the bottom of things. So that's really a powerful way to get things quickly, right? I just want this part of the URL. So I hold Shift and I can select with just the arrow. I hold Option, I can get word by word. I hold Command, I get to the end. And if I don't want to select, I just want to pop to the next place, I can hold Option to just keep jumping to the end of the next section or word, if you see that in the URL bar. Let me, in fact, zoom in a little more. In the URL bar, I'm holding Option, I'm just jumping to the end of words. Works same thing here. Holding Option will just jump me to the end of words. Holding Command will jump me to the end of each line or the bottom of the file. So fun little trick there to double click, bounce to the end, double click, Shift Option, grab one word, double click, Shift Command to the right, grabs all whatever you're looking for, Shift Command arrow down, grabs to the end. So some fun shortcuts there. How about command clicking? So if you are in a document and you want to open this in a new tab, hold Command click to open a new tab, instead of having to click on it, open it, then move back to the other one. Command Spacebar is a really cool one on Mac. Command Spacebar, you can then search your computer for almost anything. Especially on Mac, and Apple's getting really smart about this, so it'll even pull up things on the internet and a lot of other stuff that you wouldn't expect. So let's say I search for introduction. It brings up a folder on my local drive. It brings up a video I did recently. It brings up some searches on Google. It brings up some movies. So it brings up a lot of stuff in my drive. Let's say a lot of times I'll do, so I name my folders pretty well in my Google Drive. So I'll name every folder with the name of the company and the word file, or the name of an employee and the word file for their vendor file or their employee file. So let's say I really quickly want to bring up Whole Foods file that I have. I type this in 1 second and it comes up, right? Think about how fast that is. That when you are searching for something like that, that you want to then find that company's file, usually you'd have to click 5 or 6 times, go to Drive or go to Finder, click around, search, maybe search Finder, maybe click several times. If that quickly you can pull something like that up, that is a really, really powerful tool. Think about how fast that is. That is saving you 10, 15, 20 seconds. And if you're finding files several times a day, that's saving you minutes very quickly. Let's talk about browser shortcuts and navigation for a second. So in the URL bar, this is a cool one. So first I'm going to Command T to open a new tab. Then if you start typing the URL bar, you will pull up all the Google documents that you've had open, or anything on the internet. I shouldn't just say Google Documents. I happen to have a lot of those open. But whatever on the internet was named with that in the title, you can pull up immediately. So here you can see I can switch to this tab if I want to jump back to that one. If that weren't open, this button wouldn't be here like for these. But it's a really fast way to open up a URL or a Google document that you were on recently by just starting to type the name of the file in the URL bar. Really valuable tool. Command tab will pop you between your different software. So if you're in one and you want to go to another, you can just pop around like that. Command squiggle will move you between versions of the same software you're in. So Command tab is all the different pieces of software. Command squiggle will move you between the different windows. So if I'm in this window, I want to go to this one, I do Command squiggle. Command T, I mentioned new window in same browser. Command N, new browser window completely. Command L will highlight the URL bar. Often you want to do that, right? Then Command C to copy, and you could do Command V to paste. So all those things. So a lot of little shortcuts, and we can always Google that also of, let's see, like Mac shortcuts, browser shortcuts, and I'll just Shift Option, Command X that one, Mac shortcuts. There's tons of these things. I'll put all these things in the notes. Browser shortcuts, probably should have written Chrome. As you can see, when I don't know something, I just look it up. And I'll put both of these in the notes, but you can see tons and tons of shortcuts. So play with these, learn these, get good at these. They will save you real time. Finder basics. So we talked about Finder before, but when you're searching, you can search for file names. It happens really quickly. You'll see here I have a lot of different files. And folders, I should say. You can drag folders to here, so the ones that I access often, I will actually put here. So you should consider whether you do want to put any things here because you do use them enough. And you can just drag and drop things around in here. Drag from here to any folder. Drag the folder out of here if you don't want it there. Just really quick ways to use Finder, and all these things will save you a ton of time. You also have spaces on the Mac, which in mine is set up as 3-finger drag. You can go back and forth between spaces. So if you want to work on something here and work on something else here, and I hope that's working for the screen recording, I assume it is, and then you can just pop back and forth and focus on the one thing in the window. Zooming in, another cool one. I think I showed this in another video, but Command plus to zoom in, Command minus to zoom out. You see that happening up here, right? Command plus and minus to zoom in and out. So overall, those are some really, really good tips to get you better at this. You should be optimizing your work and saving time and getting more efficient. The main point of this whole course and this video specifically is, what can the computer do for me? How can I get faster? How can I get more efficient? How can I save time? How can I avoid the tedious work? What are the tools? What are the software? What's the code that the best tech startups, that the best performers are using that make them so fast and so efficient? And it's this course. This course goes through at the high level of what is that list of things. So you now know what is possible. You now know when you want to create a bookmarklet or a Chrome plugin or a function in Google Sheets or an automation with Zapier or use Trello for project management or the long other list of things in this document. If I Command R up to the top, all these other things of what's possible with all the formatting, all the functions, all the other systems, the scripts, calendar, forms, all the stuff. All the tools are in here for the basics of any desk job. These are the tools that will let you be great at your job, be really fast, be really efficient, minimize the work you don't want to do, save time, all really powerful stuff. So check it out. Try some of this stuff at home. Keep optimizing, keep getting better, and I'll see you soon.